In the United States, meat doesn't just simply go from farm to processing plant and to your plate. So how complicated is this process really? And what happens to male dairy calves that can't produce milk? Today, we'll visit 4 unique livestock industries in the US to answer these questions. The journey of a delicious steak begins at a cow-calf ranch, where mother cows give birth. Then farmers raise their babies and wean them on pastures. Once they reach about 750 pounds, typically at 7 months of age, they will be sold to the background ranch and stay there for about 3 to 4 months. Then the feedlot ranchers will buy them through auctions. These auctions are large scale and take place every week. Cattle are tagged for easy identification and led into pens until it's their turn to be sold. When it's time, they are led into the auction ring. It is actually a large scale, so buyers can easily see the cattle information and its weights right from their seats. The auctioneer leads this auction with a very fast chant to encourage buyers to compete, sometimes leading them to bid higher than planned. Each cow is typically sold for around $90, and sales can reach millions of dollars on a normal day. Feedlot is the final stage of the cattle farming chain, so it's pretty large scale. Texas is the leading state, accounting for 14% of the total US cattle inventory as of January 2024. Here the beef cows are fed on a ration of grain and protein supplements. For every 6 pounds of feed, the cow will gain 1 pound, and every day they gain at least 2.5 pounds. This diet also promotes great marbling, resulting in carcasses that meet the 3 quality grades of the US Department of Agriculture. Once the cows reach about 1,300 pounds, they're ready for slaughter at the meat packers. Stressed cows produce tougher meat, so the staff try to avoid slipping and falling when offloading them to the resting pens, where they relax for a few hours. Then they will go through these chute systems with high solid sides to keep them from being agitated. Workers use a captive bolt gun to render them unconscious immediately before feeling any pain. It doesn't leave any marks on the cow's head, but leaves some natural nerve reflexes after that. They are then quickly skinned, eviscerated, and cleaned under high-pressure warm water to remove dirt that is invisible to the naked eye. Each carcass will be tagged for easy tracking. Employees will then take them to a 95 degrees Fahrenheit cold room to cool them down before inspection and grading. These carcasses have been stamped with the US Department of Agriculture's Certified Angus Beef Grade 3 blue stamp. Now they will be moved to the cutting area. Each order has different specs, and these workers are separating the muscle from the bone and the fat from the lean. Although the plants are now larger and have more machinery than in the past, labor is still essential. After cutting, the meat gets vacuum sealed in a special machine to stay fresh for up to 3 months. Next, workers check each box of meat and put labels on them. These labels show the processing date, weight, and what kind of meat it is. To avoid damaging the packages during shipping, special lifts move the boxes to a cold warehouse instead of being carried by workers. The USA is number 2 in the world for cow milk, right behind India. Jerseys and Holsteins are the most common dairy breeds here because they can give up to 15 gallons a day. 2-year-old dairy cows will start making milk after they give birth to a calf. They only have to spend about 10 minutes on this milking machine 3 times a day. On some farms, like this one in Washington, each cow gives 10 gallons daily. Freshly harvested milk is pumped into a large chilling tank to cool down so bacteria don't multiply rapidly. Before the milk leaves the farm and again at the factory, it gets some special tests for temperature, bacteria, and antibiotics. Once approved, it will first be separated in a centrifuge to produce a variety of choices, such as whole milk, semi-skimmed, or skimmed milk. Homogenization is the next step, where fat particles are broken down so they won't clump together as cream like on top of raw milk. Then comes pasteurization, which involves heating and rapidly cooling the milk to kill all harmful bacteria. All milk containers are also sterilized to protect the milk from contamination, light, and oxygen. While female dairy cows are raised for 8 to 14 years for milk, male dairy calves are like byproducts in the US. They are separated from their mothers shortly after birth and put in small cages called veal crates. This is done to keep the calves' muscles weak, resulting in more tender meat loved by many. After a few months, they will be sold to slaughterhouse young. This is a cruel way to farm cows, so 9 states have banned it. Then what about the fate of old female dairy cows? They will be sent to a stress-free retirement farm to be fed on pastures for at least a year, which allows them to recover muscle and body fat. Retired dairy cows graze on grass 2 to 3 times more throughout their lifetime, so their meat has a rich, distinct beefy flavor, perfect for dry aging. This process involves storing the meat in a controlled environment for 28 days or more. During this time, enzymes naturally break down the meat, making it more tender and flavorful. The second product you can get from dairy cows is ground beef. First, boneless clean beef cuts will be pre-grounded in a coarse grinder to make thick minced beef strands. Then, different types of meat will be mixed and reground multiple times. Next, they will go into a machine to be formed into the desired shape, and finally packaged for sale. Marked by their distinct flavors, lamb and goat meat is a relatively minor product in most US food stores. Texas and California raise most of these animals. The main method of farming goats and sheep here is rotational grazing because it can keep the land healthy and provide them with enough nutrients. Spanish goat and Rambulat sheep are the 2 most common breeds in the US. Once the sheep reach around 115 pounds and the goats reach around 70 pounds, they are taken to the processing plant. Unlike pigs or cattle, sheep and goats follow each other easily on a non-slip floor to the resting area. If they're chewing like this, you know they are definitely relaxed. Electrical stunning is the most common method used to stop their heart and brain so they don't feel pain when being slaughtered right after that. At least once a week, a stunner audit will come to make sure this stunning system works well. Following stunning, the carcass is prepared for pelt removal and evisceration procedure with special techniques to make sure the meat is contamination-free. Then they will be washed with adic acid found in vinegar for food safety reasons. Sophisticated cameras will grade the carcass so the staff will know where to sort it in the chiller. After chilling, the carcasses are cut into primal cuts, which are then further processed into smaller portions. Finally, the packaged meat is then boxed and shipped to grocery stores and restaurants.
Hello my friends. Today we are going to bison farms in the United States to see how the process of raising tens of thousands of bison happens. Currently, About 359,000 bison are raised as livestock on farms in South Dakota, Nebraska, Colorado, and Oklahoma. In addition, in the United States, there are about 31,000 wild bison being preserved in national parks. In particular, Yellowstone National Park is the most famous place when it comes to this animal, and here there are about 5,300 wild bison living. After about 283 days from mating, the female bison at this farm have begun to breed. The reproductive process of these female bison usually lasts only 1 hour. Each year in the United States, about 113,000 bison calves are born, and about 2% of them will die in the process of birthing. Calves here, when they're born, average at about 55 pounds, about 30% heavier than wild bison calves. On these farms, calves will live with their mothers for 7 months before weaning. According to statistics, in 2021, in the United States, there are 513 bison farms distributed across the country, with different sizes. In particular, South Dakota is the state with the largest number of farms, with 104, and accounts for 24% of the number of bison raised in the country. In addition to South Dakota, Nebraska is also the state with many bison farms and is ranked second in the list of states with the most bison farming, with about 23,000. In the next positions are Montana with 11,000, followed by Colorado with 10,000, and Oklahoma also with 10,000. Every day, herders will herd bison into the grasslands so that they can freely feed. The calves will also be eating with their mothers, and they are all protected by the hedges that surround the pasture area. Female bison are considered fully mature when they reach 2.5 to 3 years of age. Meanwhile, bulls are only considered mature and are mated by ranchers when they reach 4 to 5 years old. Currently, up to 85% of bison in the United States are raised free range. About 15% are kept on small-scale farms. This is an Oklahoma ranch that is home to 167 adult bison and 53 calves. Currently, there are 57 bison farms in Oklahoma, concentrated mainly in the area bordering the state of Missouri. About 1,300 bison are slaughtered in Oklahoma each year. In addition to being free to graze, farm-raised bison are also supplemented with other foods such as corn and grain in pellet form. A full-grown bison has an average weight of 1,800 pounds, and females average a weight of 960 pounds. Every day, each bison here needs to eat an amount equivalent to 3% of their body weight. When the pastures around the farm are in the process of being restored, the workers here will use dry straw to feed the bison herd. This is a bison farm with 75 cows in Colorado. According to the information that this ranch owner shared, each year the bison here eat 127,000 pounds of dry straw, equivalent to about 2,300 bales. During the breeding season, the bulls will fight fiercely with each other for the right to mate with the female bison in the herd. The mating season of the bison usually begins in June and lasts until the end of September. a male bison can mate with many female bison. However, female bison choose only one male bison to mate with during their lifetime. This is a herd of bison with about 55 heads in Montana. In the late afternoon, they will be herded into the captivity area by breeders to avoid attacks by wolves at night. According to statistics in 2021, there are 62 bison farms in Montana, and about 1,400 bison are slaughtered each year in this state. About every 6 months, the bison raised on the farms will be medically examined and vaccinated. These herders are herding the bison into a metal cage before the health and weight checks take place. Just imagine how many people we would need to hold a bison without this cage. Here's what's going on at a cattle market in Missouri. Hundreds of bison were transported here for auction before they were slaughtered. These bison will be kept in different cages and waiting for their turn to be auctioned. Each barn will hold between 5 and 8 bison. Here's what goes on inside the auction area. Currently, the price for a 2-year-old bison is between $3,500 and $7,000. This price depends on many factors, such as their appearance, origin, and level of purebred. Approximately 20,300 bison are slaughtered in the United States each year, and the livestock industry generates an estimated $384 million in revenue.